Hello friends, this is Kathy with Scrappy Squirrels. Welcome back to our Journaling Through Lent series. I'm so glad that you are here with us today. If this is your first time joining us, then I would encourage you to go back and watch all the previous videos in this series. We have been journaling our way through Lent. As you can see, we have covered a lot of ground. We are on day 30 today, so we are on the final home stretch of Lent. And if you are enjoying these videos and the tutorials, then I would encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our content. We're going to go ahead and get started today with a new tutorial. So if you remember yesterday, or Saturday rather, we did this really cool decoupage technique with some napkins. And I have done some journaling underneath and used this little tag to add an additional journaling spot. So today's idea actually is courtesy of the lovely Tina. She's not with me on video today, but she did come up with this idea. So I want to give her credit where credit's due. So for today, we're going to be creating a large clear pocket that covers the entire page. And this is just simply a clear piece of acetate. You can purchase these in sheets, but if you don't have that available, you can also cut this from like a piece of junk mail, the return envelopes that have the clear window. You could totally repurpose that. And we may one day do a tutorial about how you can use one of those junk mail envelopes in your journals. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and take my liquid glue, and I'm just going to glue around 3 edges of this acetate. And so we're going to be leaving the outside edge open, and it is a little difficult to see how I'm doing this because it is completely clear. But I'm just being careful to try to, and I just got glue on the table, guys. I'm going to try to keep the glue as close to the edge as possible. I got too close. So we're going to make sure this inside portion is closed, as well as the top and the bottom portions. And then I'm just going to very gently press down to make sure that that gets a good seal all the way around. So now I can take my little journaling card and I can slide it right in there so you can see how that's a completely clear pocket. Now you may notice that, okay, well now we can see the glue around the edges, so how are we going to camouflage that? So Tina had also shared with me some of these really cool washi strips. I'm not sure where she got these, but they're so pretty, and so I really like how well they coordinate with the previous page. This is probably my favorite part. There's 3 different sections, and I think they've got 2 strips on each, but I love this really wide spring green, and it's got all these wildflowers on it. So I am going to use that to go around the top and the bottom of my page. So I'm going to just peel this off. And I'm going to just lay this very carefully right against that bottom part of the page. And now I'm going to take my tiny little Tim Holtz scissors and clip it off as evenly as possible. And we can use this little remnant for another project. So I'm just going to put that back on because you know me, I don't want to waste anything. No scraps will be wasted. All right, so now we're going to do the top part of that page the exact same way. And you do have to be a little bit careful when you're working with washi because it wants to curl up on you sometimes. You just want to make sure that that's flush as much as possible with the top of the page, and that's not, so I'm going to pull that back up. All right. Sometimes it's hard to make sure that you're getting things on straight when you're filming because you're kind of working upside down, so that can be a challenge. Now, I do want to go back in because when I pulled that up to straighten it, I felt like that maybe it wasn't secured. So I'm going to put a little bead of additional glue because I don't want my pocket going anywhere. And if I wasn't filming, I probably would have let that sit a little bit longer before I went in and started trying to decorate. But I did want you guys to see the entire process. So now we just want to cover up this strip here. And I think I'm going to use this pretty pink washi to cover up the remaining section. And the great thing about washi is you can definitely do some overlap. So I am going to overlap it with that pretty green floral. And you can still see both. And then I'm just going to take this teeny bit off the top. So now we've got this really cool clear pocket. And I have this pretty little journaling card that's got some butterflies and flowers that coordinate very well. And then on the other side, it's just kind of a blank blue that you could use for journaling. So we have this one card to put in here. Now, it's definitely got the room. You could add some additional journaling cards or notes, anything, or tags, anything else that you wanted to slide in there. One thing that I did want to add, just to give it a little bit more interest, is some clear stickers on top of this clear acetate. So I've got some of these pretty hydrangea stickers. I feel like that they kind of blend well with what we've got going on here. So I just need to select the one that I want to use. And I feel like this little picture with the hydrangeas will work because it's got those same colors in it. So I'm just going to overlap this corner here. And then that just gives it a little more interest. So as you can see, now we have a cool clear pocket. We've got plenty of room to slide things in and out. So that's pretty much it for the tutorial for today's page. I did want to go ahead and talk about our journaling prompt for today, which was, what does it mean to die to self and live for Christ? And I know for me, when I was younger and a younger Christian, that verse always scared me a little bit, because just when we think about dying to ourselves, dying to our own desires, that is scary, because we all have things that we want and we desire in life, and it can be terrifying to think about giving up the control of that to something that's unknown, that's bigger than ourselves. But you know, in my 50 years on this planet, I have found that it's always been when I was able to give up that control and trust the process that I found the greatest happiness and joy. Because sometimes what we think we want, what we think is going to make us happy, is not. And we might get that thing that we think we want, but it may bring us short-term joy, but it oftentimes it does not bring us joy in the end. And I think about it as a mom, you know, sometimes when our children are young, they want things right now, and they can't understand why we won't just give in to what they want right now. And in their eyes, well, you're just, you know, you're being mean, and you don't want me to have any fun, and you won't let me go play in the middle of the street, or you won't let me eat a bag of candy before supper. But we know that we're looking out for their own well-being and interest. And I think that's kind of the way that it is when God looks at us. You know, a lot of times we can't see the big picture. Like we talked about, you know, a while back, we can't see the whole parade, and we just see what's in front of us, and we just see what we want right now. But I think for me, it means to try to keep in mind that what I want may not always be the best. And I need to be mindful of that and keep my focus on what it is God wants for my life, because He will never give us anything that is less or harmful to us. You know, when we follow His will, I think we're always going to find the greatest peace and joy. So I'm curious to hear what you guys are thinking and just, what your experiences have been through journaling through Lent. Have you found these prompts helpful? Have you found a favorite verse or a favorite prompt that we've talked about? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. I hope you all will come back and join us again tomorrow as we continue journaling through Lent. And I hope everyone has a wonderfully crafty day.